take you right into Family Focus this morning. And today I want to talk to you about facing your David. Most of us have heard the story about David and Goliath, and we always hear the story about facing Goliath. But I want to talk to you about facing your David. You see, David was a very good man. He was anointed. He had a plan from God. But do you know that God has a plan for every one of us? And God's plan is that all of us will be like a David, anointed with a purpose while we're on this earth. The problem is that there's a Goliath that rises up inside of us. And when I think of Goliath, Goliath's name actually means great. Now, I am not that tall, but in my family, I'm the tallest. And in my school of 42 students, I was the tallest. Can you imagine that? Now I have a son who's like 6'4", and he's taller, and I feel, we used to say I can drink soup on your head. Well, he can drink more than soup in my head. But think about Goliath for a minute. He was 10 and a half feet tall. And so he had a very awkward position being among the crowd. Can you imagine taking a photo with Goliath? He will always be in the back of the crowd. Or imagine him sitting in a bull cart or in your car. Goliath. What about Goliath? Is the type of person when he would be the one that everyone wants to jump on his shoulders when you go to a concert, because he's always, you can see the top of everything. Or you're taking photos and you say, hey Goliath, can you just move to the side? When you think of Goliath, he had a very awkwardness among people because he was taller than everybody else. When everybody's using an umbrella, he was taller above the umbrella. You can go into a store and have one shirt fit all. He had to go and have one ready-made for him. So there was a lot of flaws to accommodate Goliath. The problem is we have these Goliaths in our family. Our kids sometimes we perceive to be like a Goliath because they may be rebellious or they don't want to listen. But God has placed a lot of Davids in our lives. And I know there are many, many Davids in my life. Pastor Randy was one of them, or still is one of them. They're my employer. My wife is my biggest David. She's there to help me understand myself in order that I can fulfill the plan of God for my life. And sometimes in life, when our kids are not behaving or what we perceive them to be, they are like that Goliath, and we end up fighting. But the interesting thing about Goliath, God gave Goliath a choice. The day when Goliath faced David, that was the day that Goliath could have turned away. But he didn't. And sometimes we fail. We don't want to take what that David, God has put that David in front of us. We don't want to take that maybe advice or maybe whatever God is putting in the life of that person for our lives, especially our own family. So I have a couple tips for you. Are you learning something this morning? All right. Tip number one, God will always open an opportunity for us to face our David, because our David are like when you're driving down to the highway and there is this pit stop? Davids are like pit stops to help us move into the next level of our lives. So if we fail, God will have another David waiting for us. Number two, we cannot blame anyone for our choice. We all have a choice, and we need to choose to be like David instead of allow the Goliath to rise up and take control. And number three, God has a plan for everyone. Even if we feel like we are a Goliath, God has a plan for us. I think that's amazing. Amen?